good news first with you. So today, we got the final approval of renewing our 8th accreditation. So now your program is renewed for the 8th accreditation. Alhamdulillah. That's a great news, and I think it's a big milestone at college. Inshallah for you as well on your final certificates. Congrats all of you. Now, we resume this. Chapter 14, I still have like 10 slides of Haga. I'll finish this and start a very short intro for chapter 15. And remind me the last 10 minutes to speak about the IEEE explainer. Okay? Alright, so last time we were talking mostly about shapes, if you remember. How many shapes did we cover so far? Rectangle. Circle. Ellipse.
Lines.
Ellipse, arc.
Yeah.
Text.
Lines.
Thank you, all of these. So today we'll focus on the last two shape types, polygon and polyline. Okay, so what's polygon, what's polyline? Check this, okay? So, any shape, including those that are regular, like a triangle, or a square, or a rectangle, yeah, they're a collection of points, usually, right? Same for rectangle, same for square. Alright, so using polygon or polyline, I can typically draw any shape of interest using any plotted points, okay? So as long as you know the x and y coordinates of every point, you can draw endless number of shapes. Alright, so here I can connect 3 points, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, doesn't matter. So this is what we know as a polygon. Just to tell the difference between a polygon and a polyline, do you see any difference?
أصغر لا لا اللاين اللي تحت it doesn't exist.
Excellent. So the line here doesn't show, right? So if I assume that this is my start point and this is my end point, then for polygon, usually you connect both with a straight line. In polyline, we keep it open, so we don't connect the start and end point. But let me ask you a question. With the same number of points, let's assume I have 4 points. Is it possible that I end up creating different shapes?
Yeah.
Like what?
X.
I can make a square, right?
Yeah.
What else?
X.
No, same position, same everything.
You need to use all 4? Yeah, I can. You need to use all 4?
All 4, yes.
No, you can't.
I can't?
No, you need to use all 4.
Same dimension.
لا كذا نحط لاين بالنص.
Like this?
اوكي ايه بعدين نشبكهم.
Like this?
اوكي ايه
Like
كذا
this?
بعدين like this من فوق ومن تحت.
Nice, okay.
ولا
Okay. Usually when we draw shapes, no, this is possible. But usually you keep your hands on the line. Okay, don't remove your hands. So when I connect this point to this point, then this point here, then here, then here, then here. Okay? You can still repeat this line if you want, and then connect this. That's okay. But it has to move from the last point to the new point. Got it? So yes, this is possible. Okay. So this can tell us something. If I have, as agreed, 4 points, let's call it B1, B2, B3, B4. And here, let me just open this from up and down. Okay. So this is again B1, B1, B2, B3, B4. Okay, now this can tell you that the sequence matters, right? So this one I can say B1 goes to, B2 goes to, B3 goes to, B4. Or you started, let's say, the other way around. So B1, B4, B3, B2, right? If this is your start point. If not, maybe another one. And you can still repeat it clockwise or anti-clockwise. Here, let's pick this again as our start. How would we do it? B1?
P1, P3, P4, P2, P1, is that?
That's it. If polygon, we stop. Because it's anyways gonna connect these two, right? If polygon, yes, you have to go back. Okay? So keep this note in mind. We'll see it now in practice. Alright. So now we have now for the polygon, now we have this one, the constructor, that is simply creating your object. We have set stroke and set fill, in case we want to color it. But again, keep in mind, just like other shapes, the default fill is in black. And the default stroke line is black, right? Unless you want to make a change for the color value. Okay. The polyline, the same exact thing. Again, the import statements, we have it here. Scene shape polygon. Or scene shape polyline. Now let's look at this point here. So we agreed we passed a group of points, right? So either we pass a 1D array, okay? This 1D array is simply a collection of the points we have, which is B1, let's say B2, B3, right? Instead of we write the point object, you can still put the X value and the Y value for it, right? Or you pass it as an entire object that has collectively the X and Y values. So XY, comma, XY, comma, XY, if these are 3 points, okay? So we start with the X, then the Y for each point separately. So this is what we do here. Does that remind you with any method that we used before?
Children.
Thank you. That's one of the family now, we can add it. The get points dot add all. Again, capital B. And what you pass here is nothing but the points array. What you pass here is the name of your polygon object or polyline object. Same exact methods here. We will see them again for the polyline. But again, the only difference is going to be the polyline object. Here, instead of new polygon, will be new polyline. Here, for this import, it's going to be dot polyline. All right, now let's try to draw this. Okay. So what do we have here? A pane, and again, with all shapes we are simply using pane type because we need to move freely with the X and Y values. We create an object of type polygon. Then we use the same object to create our array of points.
أقدر أخليها أنت بدال قبل؟
Which one?
X, Y, هذا 30, 60.
Very good question. So this one accepts usually double, okay? But the values itself, you can still pass it as 30 or 60. That's fine, okay? But usually the points itself is double, okay? So it will pass automatically if you put it as an int value. So this is now what? B1, B2, B3, right?
Yeah.
Okay, can you, how would I know? Okay. So assume this is not there now. If I ask you which point is this one or this one or this one, you just need to tell me, okay, this is my first X that I encounter, right? This is the bit here, sorry. Okay. This is my second X. This is my third X. right? So it makes now sense that the shortest will be
30.
the 30. The second will be
90.
30, 90, 100. So this is going to be the 90. This is going to be the 100. The rest now you can fill it, right?
Yes.
Or the opposite way. So you can still do it on the y-axis. So this is point 1, point 2, point 3, right? Okay. Now, this is my first point, x1, y1, x2, y2, x3, y3. And we pass it again these two statements to check the color. So this is the stroke value, this is the film value, right? Okay. And then we attach the rest, just like we do. The polygon is attached to our plane, the plane to the scene, scene to stage, and then we display the stage. All good? So again, this is orange from inside, which is set film, and black from outside, which is our border or the slope line. Okay. Same exact example. The only change here is polyline instead of polygon, right? But let me trick you something here. Okay? I'm gonna swap these 2 points. What's gonna happen?
اللاين اللي بيكون مفتوح بيكون من جهة ثانية.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you. So this becomes B1, B2, B3. Now we assume this is gonna be B2, B1, B3. So if this was B1 and this was previously B2, B3, we would just swap B1 and B2. So this becomes 2, this becomes 1. So where's your starting point?
The 90,
Would be
30.
would be in that case this one.
How is that the starting point?
Again?
If it stays the same, then that's the starting point.
Yes. No, if it's staying the same, this is the starting point. This one. Yes.
30.
Yes.
But
This
if
one.
they're switched, then the 90 is the starting point.
Yes. So this becomes your hold on.
Wait, so
We said this is B1. B1 will move. No, it's gonna be wait. No, I wanna start from here.
لا لا من هنا بعدين مفتوح من تحت يصير.
This is B1. One second. This is B2. This is B3. I'll swap. So I start from 90, so this becomes my point now. So instead of here, we start from this one. Just forget about this one.
You start from the middle?
So I'm gonna start with the 90 first. So it's gonna be the same mapping, right? But I mark my start here. So this one goes to this, right? So this becomes my second point. Then 102, 35, so from here to this one. So the line that will be open in that case is going to be this one. Right?
So the order of the points matters,
Yes.
even in the other one?
Yes.
Okay.
Sure.
طيب.
The order matters. Again, if you're having only 3 dots, so this is entirely a rectangle, the only shape you can get. But the direction of a polyline, the open space will differ. Yes, please.
It's always the case that we're gonna start from the second one?
No, I can swap these two. By swap, I mean we write it this way. So in the first case, it was 90, 75, 30, 60, 100, 35. Consider this another example. Okay? So what's going to happen now? This is your first point, which is this. Right? Then the second point will be this. Third point will be this. So you move with the line without dragging your hands up. Okay?
Yeah.
I want to ask, what's the purpose of it not drawing a line on the polyline side? Like, what difference does it make to not have a line there, like nothing P4?
Okay, so it doesn't show here in a very small shape, but you can imagine.
إذا بركب shapes فوق بعض.
Yes, that's going to be important. Let's try, for example, I want to draw, I don't know, like a tree, for example, that looks like this.
So just to add other shapes, basically.
Yes, yeah, of course. You can group things even. You can make a circle, you can group it with a line, you can group it with another object. You can build a stick man, which is something you would do in one of the assignments. Okay.
Doctor, wouldn't it be smarter to use a 2D array?
You can. I mean, the way it's implemented, this method, it takes the point in a series. So here, like this, and so on. Like it considered the first one is the object for the point.
First 2 points or for
Yes.
Okay.
Because you can still do it while passing the point object instead. You can just say P1, P2, P3, while you define each of them to be a point object of, and you pass it its own X and Y values. Okay? So this is how it's implemented. Like if you look into, again, its implementation in the open source. But if you want to change this, let's say to end, or if you want to make it double array, it's still possible, but you would have to override. So you create your own method for add all.
Oh, so add all only accepts
Yes.
the.
Yes.
Okay.
Again, and all under the get points, not the get children. Get children takes nodes. Yeah, but here we're passing only arrays. Got me? So again, it's the same name, but again, this is a typical example of overriding or overloading.
Overriding. Overloading.
Overloading. So if I have same name, but one takes a node, and the same name, but this one takes an array. Let's fix that. Yeah? So this is same name, but the implementation or the level of arguments is different. So we call it over.
Overloading.
Okay. So we're done with this. Okay. Okay, so we will look into one more case. I don't have the PowerPoint for it, but we can double check it in the slides that I put for you. So here, the idea is if I try the same application on different scene sizes. Okay? So here, I'm building a circle in middle. Okay? And here, as I make it bigger, the circle remains in its own place. Okay? While here, this was in middle. When I scaled it, it came in the middle of this scene. So what is the difference between this case and this case?
polygon, polyline?
No, this is circle.
لا لا
Just a
بس
circle.
المكان أنا نحط له كذا.
So here, this point usually has an X and Y value, right?
Yeah.
Here, I made the seam bigger, so I made a change to the width and the height. This became bigger. I'll just say plus, let's say 20 pixels, okay? Yeah. And this one, I made it also bigger.
Is it that you didn't update the second one? I think the circle is connected to
Just
the width and height.
look at this first, okay? Here, the height, I also added few to it. Let's say 50 pixels or such, okay? So here, as I make the scene itself bigger, the circle remains in its own position. So if this was 2030, let's say, this here remained 2030. Okay? Now here, it adjusted its own location based on the scene that I put.
So there's no X. The scene.
So the X and Y are
Connected
connected.
to the surface and height.
To the pane.
Thank you. It's connected to the width and height with a ratio, right? So if I told you this is my width, can you tell where is the starting X of your center point?
0.
That's 0.
Oh, and then there.
half البين.
Which is what? Which is what?
Split it.
Split into?
Half.
Half. Thank you. So this is width divided by
2.
2. That's the X. How about the height?
Same thing.
Can you relate it to that point?
Yes.
Yes.
Again, this is half of
Not a height.
my height. So this is point width divided by 2 and height divided by 2. Yeah? This entire logic, we call it finding property. Which means what? Let's build responsive design. So every time I increase the size or I decrease it, this will also impact the way it's implemented. Right? So here, what I'm trying to say I'm building my circle object, putting it into my pane, and I specify here the radius value to be, let's say, 30. Okay? So here we assume this area is 30, this area is 30, right?
Yeah.
And let's assume we moved already X and Y, okay? So this one is related, as we mentioned, to the width and the height. So here, I'm using the find function, and it takes 2 arguments, one on its right, one on the left side. So we're binding what? We're binding the width property of our pane divided by 2 to the center X property of our circle, right? So circle object dot center X property dot pane, the pane. Again, we start from the parent. So pane dot width property dot divide by 2. If I do it again for the height, same exact line, but y and good. Okay. So that's basically the end of our chapter here. That's the end of chapter 14. Now the next part, I'm not gonna give it fully. Just gonna give you 3 slides just to introduce the topic to you till the next one. So here we start a new chapter talking mostly about graphical user interface events. So here we start something we know as event-driven programming. What does that mean?
Is it when it like
Animates.
adapts, basically?
When you press a button.
It adapts to an event taking place. What is that event?
Something happens.
Like clicking a
Something
button.
happening, clicking, exactly, thank you. Position? Transition, oh, thank you. That's advanced. We'll see this in part 2. Excellent. Okay, so now we have our interface, like you made it already in assignment 1, the second exercise, right? Beautiful design. Does it work?
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Oh gosh. I told you don't make it active.
No, I turned it off.
Hmm?
I turned it off.
Functionality? You implemented this?
What do you mean does it work?
I mean,
I
if
know,
you
can I
press a
do-
button, does it work?
No. No.
Yeah? Okay.
عرفتي هذا اللي كذا
Just
زيادة
click the
البطن
button.
تغيرين
The quantity تتغير.
Because I didn't disable it.
It's okay. Okay. Fine. Here we learned how to activate our interface, okay? So the point here is, again, we're not only building a design. The whole previous chapter is building the design structure, right? We learned how to build the buttons, how to build labels, text, shapes, all of these. But how can we turn it active? Okay? So that's our goal here, learning more about these events. Now let's assume a very simple design. Let's talk about simple events. So you all have smartphones, right? And I'm pretty sure you're not putting it on mute or anything, right? You're having it on a good tone at least. Anyways, so what happens when it rings? You hear a sound. Let's divide the process. You hear the sound, then
It vibrates. It vibrates.
it vibrates, okay?
You pick up the
Ah.
And
It shows a notification.
it shows a notification. Okay, what do you do?
You get the option to
You-
answer. Pick up the
Okay.
phone and answer or to not answer. Yeah.
Okay, and what do you do?
And
You
if
answer.
you answer,
Yes?
you can speak with the person.
That's the process. Okay, we split the process into 3 main steps. There is an event that's being fired, like a phone call, right? So you hear the sound. Now there is what we know as event listener. Event listener is active 24 hours. So this is no longer a method that you call every time an event happens. No, this is active, and every time the event takes place, it will respond immediately. Okay. Now, once the event is listened to, there will be action to handle this event. So we split this process into 3 main things: the control, the event, the handler. What is the control?
The phone.
Like clicking.
Go deep inside.
The thing that gives the notification every time.
Nice, very good. Something that alerts you that there is something happening, right? Okay, now the event is what?
Hearing the sound.
The
Okay,
sound
let's get back to desktop applications. Forget about the phone for now, okay? So now, control could be what in our program?
Notification highly pops from the side of the
A
laptop.
button, a what?
Notification that pops.
A notification. Okay, nice. A
Anything you need to
notification alert.
interact with.
Thank you. Anything that you can interact with. Now, once this fires an event for you, you will classify this event first. So how was it fired? Was it an input, let's say, from the user on the keyboard? Was it something by the mouse? Was it a press, let's say, on a button? So you classify this first. Then you know how to handle it, okay? And this is, of course, the hardest part. So these are 2 easy steps. Okay. So what are these event types, as we mentioned? We have 2 types that we know as input events. Input is simply key or mouse. You know this.
Yeah.
There is action, like what?
Clicking.
Like what? Clicking what?
Accepting the call.
But we could,
Buttons. Clicking button.
Answer.
Whenever you see the word action, know that you are dealing with a button. All types. So buttons, radio buttons, checkboxes, all come here. Okay? I could also do an action related to the window itself, like minimize, resize, close, or something related to a menu. Have you seen her? So in your Mac, if you open, let's say, NetBeans, you will see options like this on top, right?
Yeah.
Or perhaps like file, you will see multiple options,
Yeah.
right? So when you just press on them, these submenus will show. So these are actions. Okay? Last example. How would we build this interface? Design-wise.
Okay.
flow pane.
Flow pane works, okay, or
Grid.
Grid.
Yeah.
or
Grid.
grid pane works.
Pane. Pane و Hbox B.
B box and
Hbox.
2 H boxes, right? So H box. Nice. Like this interface, how many events you think might be fired from it?
Three.
What are they?
One.
Minimize, maximize, X. Well, not, never mind.
Send
Wait,
message.
one. I think just one.
One,
You
ah,
say
1,
one.
3.
I think one.
So what is that one?
Clicking the button.
How many events could be fired from this one?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6.
2.
1 for clicking the
What?
button.
What did you count?
Typing texts inside. Well, is not
So
typing.
event mean like how many possible interaction you can do with this
4.
interface.
As many
Which
as
are what?
Send to
Closing,
close it or
minimize.
maximize it. Or
Forget about this one. I mean inside.
1.
Send.
Send.
Just send.
So send
Yeah.
and
History. Checkers.
And write your message.
Message.
okay, here history.
Yeah.
So you can press any of these options. Okay, and
التكست field نفس
the text field itself. So this is total of 3. Can you classify their types?
text
Text field.
لا.
No.
Event types.
action or something.
Oh,
Yeah.
Action for the
Which one?
For
Send
button.
action. Excellent.
event.
event.
Keyboard.
Key.
Oh.
Excellent.
Mouse.
Excellent. Thank you. So these are 3 possible events, right? How many handler do we need?
3
One?
different. What's
Or
one?
one?
Right?
One? One for all?
Not 3, because they're different. They're all different.
3 different handlers.
Yeah.
So one handler for each event. One that handles the key, one that handles the mouse, one that handles the action.
And doctor, what exactly are these handlers? Is it like a type of...
We'll see it. It's like a method, okay? But we will learn how to do it next time. We call this lambda expression or delegation methods. We'll talk about them next time. But for now, just know that under each of them, you can still build more than one handler. For example, for the mouse, I can interact
السين الستيج هذول راحوا الحين ولا still موجودين؟
with interaction. You can okay. If you do apply an event to the entire scene, and everywhere you press, it's gonna be the same exact
بس
action.
استخدم لسه السين
You
والستيج
can. Oh yes.
ولا ما استخدمهم
So,
شيء ثاني.
You build your own design, but this is how you turn it active. So then normally when you do it, build this
إيه
first.
بعدين هذا كيف اوكي.
Additional method. Do you see the start that we used to have? We can either put the code inside it or build a separate method that takes care of the event handling.
We call it start?
No. Other method, we don't call it start. Call it anything.
we
Call
need
it
to? Don't we need it?
Do we?
Don't we need it to be like?
I don't know.
If we put it inside, we don't call it start. No, you never call it start. You never call it start.
It's a bit different format. I don't want to confuse you now, okay?
يعني أنا
So it's gonna
أكتب
be a
شلون هذا
method.
مع هذا.
Yeah.
شلون بقول؟ صح يعني أنا شوي منطقي السؤال.
We have our start method, remember? Yeah? Where we had our
الستيج والسين
Stage,
والجين كل هذول.
till dot show. Right? Let's assume I have here a button. I'll call it X, let's say, okay? Now this X, I can say X dot. Okay, let's now think of it like pseudocode, okay? Not exact syntax. X dot event.
Not action. No, I'm joking.
We'll talk about the syntax
أستخدم
later.
الإيفنت
Of course, this event has to be exactly classified, okay? Then inside these 2 braces, try to link it inside start.
Okay,
So it's called start.
Good? Yeah, I mean, there are other ways where you can take it outside. We'll learn it. I don't recommend it though. I'll give it to you, you know. You choose the best way you want. Like, again, just keep in mind for these, you might end up with more than one. So for the mouse, for example, I can, thank you, left or right. I can even make a double click, right? So again, one handler could be more than one type under the same category. We'll talk about this inshallah next time. All right, is that clear? Do we have any questions? Do you just allow me 2 minutes to explain IEEE screen?
Yes, sure.
So